In the mid-1990s, two adventure games arrived, just 2 years apart, and they helped shape what storytelling in games could be like. In 1996, players met George Stobbart in Broken Sword: Shadow of the Templars, a point-and-click adventure game about a tourist caught in a conspiracy stretching across Europe. Then, in 1998, players stepped into the shoes of Manny Calavera, a travel agent in the land of the dead in Grim Fandango. Two strange premises, two unforgettable worlds. Both games belong to the tradition of the point-and-click adventure. You solve puzzles, you explore environments, you speak to characters. The structure is simple, but it leaves room for something more powerful. Time with the world and the people inside it. When Broken Sword: Shadow of the Templars launched in 1996, critics immediately recognized its ambition. Writing for the computer gaming world, reviewer Charles Ardy described the game as a beautifully animated adventure that tells a gripping story across Europe. The game's hand-drawn animation, orchestral music, and historical conspiracy created a tone that stayed with players long after the puzzles were solved. Many people still remember the first visit to the Paris cafe where George meets Nico Collard, a quiet beginning to a story that grows larger and darker with every chapter. 2 years later, Grim Fandango arrived in a very different setting. Film noir met Day of the Dead mythology in a story about corruption, fate, and redemption. Writing for GameSpot, reviewer Don Dullen called it one of the most imaginative and entertaining adventure games ever made. The game's dialogue, jazz soundtrack, and distinctive art direction created a world that felt completely unique. And at the center of it all was Manny Calavera, sarcastic, determined, and slowly discovering his own sense of purpose. The two games share striking similarities. Both were released in the same decade. Both use point-and-click adventure format. Both center on ordinary people pulled into much larger stories. And both place enormous attention on dialogue, atmosphere, and world building. The players spend their time listening, observing, and piecing together mysteries that unfold gradually across different locations. What these games demonstrated was the potential for games to carry complex stories and memorable characters. They showed that a game could feel rich with history and personality. George Stobbart's journey through Europe still feels alive decades later. Manny Calavera's road through the land of the dead continues to resonate with players. And that's why, nearly 30 years later, both games are still discussed, replayed, and celebrated. Because when a game builds a world that the player truly wants to spend time in, the player will keep coming back. Thanks for watching. Anyone for some poetry?
Pain killer. Dig this real. The end. We hear you, Daddy.